Welcome to the TELUS Originals DocTalks, a series of talks dedicated to craft, themes, and ideas behind TELUS Originals documentaries with the people behind and in front of the camera. I am your host, Sabrina Rani Furminger, and for this episode, we'll be talking to Jonathan Mubanda and Joey Haywood about Handle with Care, the legend of the Nautic Streetball crew. Driven by a quest to finish the final installment of their legendary mixtapes, Handle with Care, the legend of the Nautic Streetball crew pits issues of race and rejection against themes of self-expression and brotherhood. With a thriving local and global legacy, this underdog journey charts how a group of outcasts who never made the NBA changed the game forever. I can't wait to talk about this film today with our two guests, Jonathan Mubanda and Joey Haywood, who both appear in Handle with Care, the legend of the Nautic Streetball crew. Jonathan Mubanda, aka Johnny Blaze, was born in Kampala City, Uganda. Since his high school years, Jonathan has had a passion for acting. His credits include Arrow, The Followers, and The Switch. It was through his acting career that Jonathan developed an interest in filmmaking, leading him to producing a number of short films, including one that won Best Comedy Short at a festival. And he recently finished producing a heartwarming TELUS Originals full-length documentary called It Takes a Village, an East Van story. Jonathan's mission is to find diverse stories that are meaningful and to bring them to life, as not many of these stories get a chance to see the light of day, and Jonathan wants to change the narrative. Now, Joey Haywood, aka the King Handles, was born in Canada to a family from Trinidad and Tobago. He's called the King Handles because of his ball handling expertise. He was a member of the Trinidad and Tobago national team, has played all over the world, and created a basketball program known as the School of Handles Basketball Academy for kids to achieve their goals as athletes and team members. Today, we'll talk streetball, the Nautic, and adventures in documentary with Johnny Blaze and the King Handles. Jonathan Mubanda and Joey Haywood, welcome to TELUS Originals DocTalks.
Thanks for having us.
I'm so happy that you're both here. Okay, we're going to get in the Wayback Machine then, and let's talk about your relationship to basketball and to streetball in particular. For each of you, what is your earliest basketball memory?
Well, my earliest basketball memory was my brother was trying to get me to play basketball, right? Because I never used to like basketball. So, yeah, and then, I liked video games back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I was a gamer, and during that time, you had to go rent videos and go to Blockbuster or Rogers. So my brother would listen, if you beat me one-on-one, I'll rent you a game. So it took me, I was like, whoa, really? You really gonna rent me a game? I'm like, yeah, sure. All right, well, I'm gonna play one-on-one. And it wasn't the first time playing him, it was tough to beat him. But I remember one day, I think it was like a couple months. It took me a while to beat him, but one day I actually beat my brother and I actually fell in love with the game of basketball, but also I got my video game. But that was the day when I beat my brother. I was like, you know what? I like the sport because, like I saw myself getting better, with the couple weeks and months I was trying to beat my brother and I couldn't do it. Then it's finally, I ended up beating him and I got my game, but
you got your
I
game?
just fell in love. So fell in love in the game of basketball during that time.
So follow-up question then, what was the game that you got to rent at the block?
I can't even remember. It was so long ago, right? But I really remember just beating my brother.
Yeah.
Like that was like the highlight.
That's a beautiful memory. And I have to say, I think we're all about the same age. And I've watched hundreds of documentaries.
Yeah.
I think this documentary was the first one that I've heard ICQ mentioned so many times.
Oh, ICQ. Oh, yeah.
ICQ. That's our generation, right?
Oh, yeah. ICQ.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I don't know. And what about for you, Jonathan?
For me and my brother, we were super into hockey because all the kids around us played hockey, ice hockey, ball hockey, but ice hockey was super expensive. And the gear was super expensive. All that kind of stuff was super expensive, but we loved hockey. But just like Joey, we had an older brother who stuck in a tape of Michael Jordan one day, and he's like, "Hey man, you guys should try basketball." And basketball was super cheap, right? All you need is a ball and a hoop. And that's kind of how we started picking it up because of my older brother, Alpha. He kind of introduced us to the game, and that was it. From then on, me and my brother just had a love and a passion for the game of basketball.
That's beautiful. So much of this film really is about brotherhood, but I love that your older brothers were really both instrumental, in introducing the game to you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I would love to, because we have a very diverse audience, which is honestly the joy with documentaries, but specifically TELUS Originals documentaries. Very diverse audience. I want to speak, though, about what life was like for, young kids of color in Vancouver in the 90s and the early 2000s. Like, how would you describe it to, white people, who aren't part of that world?
Yeah. For me, coming from Trinidad, like growing up, I was born here. My parents took me back and forth, right? So, at a certain age, my dad took me down to Carnival, special festivals in Trinidad. So I saw a lot of my people, and I felt really comfortable there. Mm-hmm. But coming back, it was tough because during that time there weren't a lot of Black people. So especially in school, when you're in school, you don't really see a lot of Black people, so people don't really understand you. Especially if you have a different culture and people don't understand it, like, okay, that's different. Like, you're weird, right? You look different, right? You kind of feel like an outcast. Yeah. But also when you're not in the classroom, when you're not getting the A's and B's and C's, or you learn different, right? And you're the only Black kid there, they're like, okay, well, where are all the Black kids? Like, I guess I'm the only like dumb Black kid, or like I'm not as smart, right? And when you're in that, especially for me, when I'm in a certain classroom, I see a lot of minorities in those classrooms. I don't feel good about myself because I don't really see a lot of, white students in there. I see a lot of white students in the regular classroom when I go to a special class that I need to learn better, right? So you're not really confident as much, especially when you don't have, teachers that trying to give you confidence. Don't get me wrong, I had good teachers, but it wasn't many, right? Yeah. And at a young age, I had a teacher tell me in my special SDC class, tell me that I couldn't even go to university. So it's just on layers on layers on layers on layers. Said I'll never read, I'll never go to university, I will never become anything. So hearing that at a young age is like, and don't get me wrong, my parents were there and they supported me, right? But there's only so much they can do because they're not in the classroom, they're not in the school, right?
Yeah. You have all these competing voices, right, that are trying to get in your head.
Oh, there's a lot of voices, right? And then friends, and and it's just like you're trying to fit in, and you trying to go to their culture and try to fit in, but you just don't. It doesn't feel right, Mm-hmm. It was tough. It was a tough time, and then people don't really understand that because they don't live in that bubble, right? Yeah. And I understand that. You can't get mad at that if people are growing up a certain way, right? But there's not a lot of Black culture around. But when I go to Toronto, it's a whole different ballgame. There's more Black people. There's more, Italian people. But people go back to their culture, but they also understand your culture as well, right? So I find growing up here, people during that time don't understand the Black culture and how we, interact and talk and stuff like that.
Yeah. And what I loved also about the film is that we see that, like, this idea of Black culture, like there's so many different cultures that aren't part of Black culture.
Oh no, there's a lot.
All over the world. People were from all over the world. And that was remarkable to see.
Yeah. So that's just my world.
That was your world.
Yeah. So I don't know what John.
I think
I can't wait to hear.
I think the challenges for us is like, even me and my brother David, we were born in Africa, we were born in Uganda, Kampala City. We come from, everybody's Black, everybody around us looks like us. To come into a country where nobody looks like you, and it's just me and him, and that's all I see is my brother. And seeing my parents actually go through their challenges. They're very educated. My mom was a principal back home. My dad had his master's, and all of a sudden they come here and all that education gets stripped of them. They have to go back to school. They have to start from scratch, and they're basically janitors now. And they don't even look at their education. They just, hey, you're not educated from this country or from this side of the world, so we don't even think your education is worth anything. So I think those were the challenges like that we were facing. Also me, I was a little bit darker than my brother and a little bit darker than King handles as well. So I think for me, I got a lot of people made fun of me because of my skin color being so dark or whatever. And that always kind of played an effect in the way that I felt about myself, right? And the way I looked at myself, and I'd be like, man, I'm too dark. I wish I was lighter, you know? So there's all these things that start to play, and you don't feel comfortable in your own body, and you don't feel comfortable in this new place that you're in, right? And you're seeing your parents struggle from being educated, not to just being janitors and just picking up after people. And it's, I don't think people understand how hard it was. It was a difficult time. We didn't really, you know, get caught up in it too much. We kind of tried to, you know, look outside of it. Because when you're coming from Africa and Uganda, you think Canada is a land of opportunity. Like there's gold streets, money grows on trees. Like you think it's just going to be heaven over here. And then you come to the reality of the challenges that you're not even looked at as a priority. You're nothing. You're still struggling. We're still poor. We're living in a basement suite. We can barely get by. We're supposed to be here and things are supposed to be better, but they're no better than they were back home. At least back home, we had family, we had friends, we had community. People looked out for each other. Here, nobody's looking out for us. It's just us and our mom and dad, right? So I think those were the challenges of really trying to adjust to a new country. And it was difficult. I know me and King talk about it a lot just together on a personal level. It was a lot more difficult than we express it to be at times, but it was and it was challenging for all of us, whether it be Six Fingers, Andrew, he's from Brunei, you know, even Disaster, just growing up in East Van, you know, being left out. Like I think it was challenging for all of us. And I think that's honestly what kind of created a stronger bond between all of us, is just those differences and those challenges that we faced. We could see them in each other and we could relate to each other. And I think that's kind of what brought us.
Yeah, you're not alone at all, and you have people to share it with, you know. And I think, you know, I have immigrant parents as well. Like they did not come with the language, you know, to even talk about it. And it was really, we're just gonna like, you know, go about our business and just like push forward, you know. But then like, you know, raise your kids here, you know, with the different like, you know, set of ways of measuring things and expectations. But I find it just amazing then that you guys did find each other. And when we're watching, you know, when we watch, you know, the footage from those early years, like there's so much joy there, you know. So can you tell me about like what finding each other, you know, and being able to like play together and create, you know, together, what that did for you and how you saw yourself?
For me, it was some people say it was a fluke, but I think it was meant to happen. It was meant to be, especially, you know, if you like work hard, and because it was all about believing in yourself. And I guess if for me, and I think, and I can speak for, and also for the others too, they would probably think the same thing, that if we stop playing basketball through those hard times, or just kind of like, you know what, that's it, we want to meet each other. I think we had that fire, that belief that, you know, we'll do something great with the game of basketball. And so that kind of led us to meet at one spot we called Bonzer Recreation Complex. And that's where I met John, Dave, like almost all the Nautic members, right? And it was such a good feeling to see them, because I thought I was the only one that was doing those moves and tricks and stuff that I was going through, right? I was like the only people that was going through that stuff, right? But meeting them, I was like, man, these guys got tricks too. These guys play like me. Like, they understand me. I actually gave me more confidence because I wasn't alone, right? And then I could also share all my stuff that I was going through, even tricks and moves or whatever, with these guys. So, you know, the basketball and just believing in self kind of brought me to these guys, and just believing in myself. But these guys also gave me even super more confidence. You know what? If these guys could do it, and go through all those hard times, and we're here together, we could also do it together. And then that's how the Nautic formed, right?
Yeah, and you could do anything after that too. You know, you can't like unknow the fact that you are not alone. You know, you can't unknow the fact that you're really good and you lift each other up together. Like that, like life changing, I would assume.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah.
But during that time, we don't like, we didn't really know what we were doing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
We just doing because we love the game of basketball, like truly love the game. Like I'm telling you, like we love basketball, and we just like, don't get me wrong, we like the organized basketball, but somehow we just like street ball because it was just so different. And not just, and it also expressed how, like, that's just us. So, like, street ball is us. We're not even part of it. We're that's us. So it's just like, we love the flair, we love the, you know, like the moves, the tricks, and just challenging each other, right? Like, what can we do better? Okay, that move was good, but can we top that off? So that's what we loved about street basketball, because it's just like no limitation, right? And when I got to see all these guys, different styles, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could take some of John's style, I could take some of Jay Fresh's style, I could take all these styles and create into my own style. So we all also helped each other in that way too.
Yeah. What about for you, Jonathan?
Man, I think it was fate. I think it was destiny. I think it was like God. I think it was meant to be that we all found each other, because we were all going through our own challenges. And as soon as I found like Goosebumps, Delight, Six, King, Fresh, all of them, I think it just became an added family, right? And it's people that look like me, people that are going through the same challenges and struggles as me. So it really just, like King said, it brought joy into my heart. Hey, man, here are some people that look like me. They're going through the same struggles. We can support each other, not only on the basketball court, but also outside the basketball court. We're real friends. Like, what people don't understand is we actually have been friends since we're kids, and we're still friends today. So our friendships are really tight, and I'm so thankful, because I look at back in the day, we never had no technology. We were outside playing together. We were outside building real connections and real relationships. We really were actually bonding, and going through these challenges together was honestly a blessing, because it helped you overcome. And basketball was just the catalyst and the joy in our lives, right? That's something that we just had such a passion for. So even how King explains it, we played completely different, you know, and I always wondered why I played this way, and why I always wanted to move differently than in the rules of the organized world. I didn't want to move in that way in that basketball world. I wanted to be free. I wanted to express myself. I wanted to move differently. And I saw King moving the same way. I saw my brother Dazzle moving the same way. I was like, why are all these Black kids moving in such a way that's so free, and they're not restricted in the bounds, right? So when I saw all these guys doing what I was doing, it encouraged me, because if you're playing in the organized world, you don't see that. But I see King doing it in the organized world and trying to express himself and trying to break free. And it's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing too. I want to connect with him. I want to connect with Goosebumps. I want to connect with Six Fingers. So for us, man, honestly, it brought us together. It made us stronger. And like I said, I think it was a blessing from God. It was fate. It was destiny. I think we were meant to be together.
Most of you, you know, you found each other, you know, through, you know, your Blackness and your basketball. And then you have these two white guys, you know, who are shooting it. Do you think the fact that they were white, like, was it and they were looking through that lens, that it was a good thing or a bad thing? Or like, what are your thoughts on that now, especially looking back at that time?
We didn't think anything of it. It wasn't anything racist or not like that. We just like, you want to film, like I'm not seeing, like, don't get me wrong, I know they're white, but I'm not like discriminating anybody.
Yeah.
You know, we're not doing that. Like, you know, it's like, we saw it as a good opportunity, as a good thing. Yeah, sure. Like, why not? Because during that time, it's like, we watched And One mixtape, On Hollow Ground, all these mixtapes earlier, and we got the skills, we got the motivation from New York, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, in my head is like, you should trying to come film us, and we're doing these tricks. Oh, we could probably make it. Sure, why not? Because we watched these guys. So I knew they're trying to do something here in Vancouver locally, trying to like mimic like the And One and stuff like that, but in a Canadian version. So like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So I didn't think it was like a bad or good thing, right? You could have been white, Black, whatever. Like, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I didn't mean it in like a way about racism or discrimination, though. It's just like their lens, though, is like it's just so different. Their POV of looking at the world.
Yeah,
I can't help it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do. Yeah, we thought it was a good thing, because at that time, we just wanted to do tricks. We didn't care. We didn't think about like getting on tape.
Yeah.
Right. We want to think about the social media during that time, because social media was like, to me, us, we weren't really thinking about that. Maybe because, I don't know, maybe we didn't have enough money, because I know we didn't have video cameras during that time. I'm not sure, but these guys, like you said, I think they were thinking ahead, right? But we weren't really thinking ahead. We were just thinking at the moment,
right,
the present time.
Yeah, not only that, I think you could see the passion in Jerry and Kirk. They loved basketball, but they also loved to film. Like Jerry and Kirk loved basketball. They really actually loved to play basketball. Jerry was, he was getting better. He was trying, but they loved playing basketball. Like Kirk was good. Like Jerry loved the game of ball.
When you look back at those years, and literally when you can sit down and look at it in the first two mixtapes and then in the documentary, like for each of you, like what is your best memory, your happiest memory, from those early years?
With the Nautic, oh man, just to hoop it up, just being part of that. Like, I don't think anybody really understands, like, okay, so during that time, right, there was no club basketball. So right now, there's a lot of club basketball, which is great. It gives a lot of kids opportunity, right? If you don't make it in one club, you can go try for the another club. If you don't make it in another club, so it's great. But during that time, it was hard because they had Basketball BC. Basketball BC was like the only club basketball during that time. So if you don't make it to Basketball BC to represent like your zones or your or the provincial team, that's it. Like everybody else is playing outdoor basketball. So when Hoop It Up came during the summer times when we were young, like I never made a Basketball BC. I probably made it like maybe when I got a little older, but I never made it on the main teams. But everybody is playing Hoop It Up. Like you're going to play Hoop It Up. Everybody's playing Hoop It Up. So it's packed. You're going to get good competition, right? You're looking forward to getting the forms to sign up in the mail, right? You keep those forms in your okay, I got my team. Hey, yo, you going to play this year? Who do we got, man? We got this guy, we got this guy, okay, let me give him a call. Like you have to physically call, right? No emails or nothing like that. Maybe ICQ during that time when it got, maybe ICQ. But I remember getting on the phone though, right? And calling, and I'll keep that form in my bag for like a month or two, right? Okay, you're going to sign in your name then, everything. I need all your contacts. And after when we got our teams together, you had to go fax it in. And I remember have to fax it in on the deadline, like June 29th, because June 29th is a deadline. And I'll call to make sure, hey, man, like, hey, I'm sending my forms in to make sure, is it okay? Like, yeah, we got your form. We're going to get it to send it right now. And I'll call back. Do you get the form? Yeah, we got everything. So it was like a time of like, you had to really be organized. And once you're there, it's like you see everybody in the city. And that during that time, you see a lot of Black people now. Now you start seeing your own people there, right? I'm like, damn, like, where do you come from? Why? I haven't seen you guys in a long time. So that was like the mecca of seeing not just basketball, but for me, seeing our culture come together. Right?
Yes.
During that time. So when I watched the Nautic 1, Nautic 2, and I see that, it's like, it's just great moments of just seeing us just be free and just being ourselves. And not just that, people that are actually enjoying it and watching us play. And it's having that crowd around us.
Yeah. Right? The crowd is part of it, right? Like the crowd, their energy.
The energy, right? We had people loving us, we had people hating us, but guess what? They still wanted to see a show, no matter what. So, and we just expressed ourselves. So that was the best moments of my life. Even my wife was there during that time, and I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know she was there watching. I'm like, you actually.
Even my brother's wife, even my brother's wife was there too, watching.
Yes.
Wow.
Watching. So we didn't even know what we were doing. Like, we didn't know that, our wives were going to be there. Like, that was going to be our wives, right? Or even our friends. So yeah, so when I watch those tapes, that's just great memories. All that stuff.
That's beautiful. Hey, did you see your wife in the tapes? Like if you go back,
Try to find herself. I think there was actually one part that she was wearing a red shirt, and we paused it, and she's like, "Yeah, that's me wearing that red shirt." And I didn't even know she was at the game.
yeah,
When she used to say, "Hey, I used to come watch you play every," I'm like, "Yeah, right. I can't watch me play. I've never seen you." She said, "Yeah," but I was in the shadows. I was behind the scenes. Like, I'm like, "Damn, you didn't say nothing." Now that made me feel good about myself.
oh, I wish I could have been there, but because of the documentary, I kind of get to be there. So,
yeah.
is there a Vancouver style that is different from, say, like a Toronto style, or I mean, I'm from Montreal, a Montreal style, of street
For
ball.
basketball,
Yeah.
I don't really think there's really, to be honest with you, there's not really much street ballers out here. Like guys that have this with flared tricks. Like there's guys that can play street ball. Like I know a few of them, but they don't really have that type of flair. But I think overall, Vancouver basketball is it's getting a lot better because of the NBA. People watching the NBA now, you start seeing a lot of, ball handling tricks and moves. So these kids are seeing that and adding to their game. But I think Vancouver basketball is more like fundamentally sound now, like really fundamentally sound, a little bit of flair, really good shooters, kind of overall game, but not as gritty like New York and Toronto. Get that hard, hard basketball, more of that street ball style of play. I think Vancouver is kind of missing that grit a little bit. There's certain players do have it, but it's not in that category, right? But the basketball has gotten better. I think a lot more people are playing more basketball in the city now, but I think we need more of that grit, that more intensity a little bit more. And I think we need more NBA players to be in Vancouver. I know a lot of NBA players from Toronto. Every NBA player is from Toronto, right? We need more Vancouver NBA players. So we're doing a lot better, right? But we have a lot more work to do.
Yeah. It's so cool to see too.
also-
You're part of that journey, right?
Yeah.
You are part of like a foundation stone. Really.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's why when I started my school handles basketball, right? We're fairly new. We've been around for 5 years. So we're slowly building that, right? Trying to build that, definitely fundamentally, but to try to play hard and, hard defense, full court press, like deny the wing, like just that hard grit, fast break, run and gun, like that type of basketball.
I kind of, we've talked a lot about your memories from the time and the footage that we get to see from, Nautic 1, Nautic 2. But, there, you also had an experience of filming and being part of, new opportunities to, make footage and this new documentary. What kind of conversations, did you have with Kirk and Jeremy at the beginning of the documentary process? Like, and what were some things that you wanted to make sure like that this documentary, captured and communicated about the Nautic and that time?
Well, actually, one of my really good friends, you could say definitely one of my best friends is Ryan Sidhu. He's also the producer of the film.
Yeah.
And he's been, actually, I grew up with him, like at we used to go to the same camp called Mel Davis. And it was at Kitsilano. And so that's how I met him. But through my other best friend that took me there, that I didn't even want to go there. He's the one that took, hey man, I want to take you to meet this guy. So that's how I met Ryan. So Ryan seen my career since I was 11, 12 years old till like now, right?
Wow.
And he's been with the Nautic, even before the Nautic, he's seen me play, and he's been to the Hoop It Ups, and he's always been a fan and always supported the film and always supported myself in basketball, and also his family, the City family. So I really want to thank them for all the stuff they've done for me. So he actually brought it up 6 to 7 years ago because he did a documentary. I can't remember. It was a basketball documentary in Toronto. So he did a few basketball documentaries. He said, listen, I really want to do a documentary of the night because I know you guys have a lot of footage. You have a great story. And, you're well known in the street ball world. And I want to do a documentary. And he really want to do it. And he's like, yeah. He's like, what do you think about it? I'm like, dude, let's do it. I'm down to do it. So he's the one that kind of brought the idea. And then I think 1 or 2 years before COVID, he actually brought it up again to me and then told me, "Hey, you think I should talk to Jeremy and Kurt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think you think they will be interested?" I'm like, "For sure. They'll definitely be interested." And that's how, how it all started through them. And then everybody, all the Nautica players agreed. So that's how it really started, is through Ryan, and because he really had that idea in his head for a very, very, very long time.
He had the vision.
Yes. Like I told you before in the beginning, it's like we really truly love the game. And I know, especially myself, I know everybody else, but I know this life hits, and you gotta pay bills. You see a beautiful girl down the street, right? Like, it's like you got to get married. You got all these how could I say? I don't know, opportunities, what's the word? But you got all these vices, right? That you have to deal with, these things you have to deal with. That's life. And that's totally understandable, right? So I'm not even mad at them for not playing basketball anymore, because I understand, because I felt in a way too that I should stop playing basketball. And, you hear these voices, "Oh, street ball ain't going to do nothing for you," or "Basketball's not going to do nothing for you. You'll never make it to university." You got all these voices, right? And you just think about, man, like, I think I should stop and just, I don't say be like everybody else, but I should just be civilized and just and to me, I always had heard something in my voice, like inside of me, keep going. No, keep going. And I think when I heard that, and it could be from God, it could be it in me, I don't know, but it's definitely someone telling me not to quit. So it was a reason why I kept on going. And one of the reasons why too is that I don't want anybody to say that, you see, those guys were nothing. See, like, they all quit. And I had to take that, because I remember I was on the bus one day after playing ball at Bonza, and a guy that I know was on the phone. I was sitting right behind him, and he's on the phone talking about money, talking about this and that. I got a job, this and that. I wasn't really trying to listen, but I could hear him talk loud, right? Then he said that really kind of made me really think. He's like, "Yeah, those Nautica guys, they don't do nothing. They go to Bonza, they play ball." And I remember hearing that. And he got off the bus and he saw me. I just stared him down, and he was shocked because he didn't expect to even see me on that bus or be behind him. So when I heard that, it was that was like a sign. You got to keep going, because if you don't keep going, that's what everybody else is going to say, like, literally. So I had to take that and say, you know what? I'm not stopping no matter what, because I don't want to be the laughing stock of Vancouver, right? I don't want my brother to be a laughing stock of Vancouver. So I have a responsibility.
Yeah.
I got to take that responsibility, that hit. I'll take that. You guys don't even have to play ball, because I heard it. You guys didn't hear it. And you know what? I didn't even tell those guys that. I don't even think I told them that till maybe a year or two ago.
Wow.
I didn't want them to hear that.
Yeah.
Right? So not a lot of people know that. That's why I never stopped playing. That's one of the reasons.
And at that time, King, it was a struggle playing between the lines, because people were like, if you're not a good organized player and you play street ball, you're whack. You know what I mean? True. So yes, we got a lot of love, but we got a lot of hate in the way we played as well, right? Yeah. Because it was a thin line. So I know the struggles King went through. Because I gave up after high school, after street ball, all that stuff. I was like, I'm done, King, man. We took too many losses. We should be rich by now, but we're broke still. Like, I got to go get this money, man. I'm out of here. But that's why I'm always so encouraged by your pursuit to just continue on, Yeah.
I just feel like I'm meant to play the game of basketball, and this kind of keeps me going, right? Definitely my kids and my family, they keep me going too as well, My kids, I love them to death. I love my wife to death. But I feel like there's a fire that it can't stop burning. That keeps me going strong, right? Keeps me healthy, keeps me young. So, yeah, I just love basketball. Yeah.
Wow. And it's so important too for your kids to see, you doing something that you love and that you excel at and you're always working on, right? Like, that is another, I consider that another form, living your best life is also another form of parenting. I have to say though, I cried a lot, and I almost want to cry now just watching the two of you, but I think what struck me almost as much as, your talent and the creativity, of all of you, in the documentary is like the brotherhood, and like we don't often can't think of a lot of documentaries I've watched where I get to see like, young men like, building a family and loving each other, and then through the years, and they're all still so tight, and it's really wonderful to see. And I wonder, when you were able to watch this film together, what that experience was like. Share that with your brothers.
Yeah, it was great, knowing that we did it. We actually did something that we didn't know we were doing, and we did it. We actually, I can't even, it's kind of surreal sometimes. Like, it's just like, it's sometimes weird. It's like, because I feel for myself, I feel that I have not accomplished anything. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like I accomplished, but it's not over.
Right.
I'm not satisfied. Right.
You're still in the thick of it. You're still in the stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, which is a blessing, but it's also a curse at the same time too. Right. Because maybe sometimes you got to slow down a bit. For me, it's like, no, like, yeah, the movie's out and I'm happy, but there's more work to do. There's always more work. But at the same time, I see it as a positive thing for not just for me, but for our community and for everyone around the world to see us through our struggles, the brotherhood. Even coming from nothing, that you can come from nothing and become something, right? And just believe in yourself. So I'm really happy that the film's out, and and young kids could watch it and just see how we kind of grew up and see how life was back in that time, and and motivate themselves. And so it's a good doc. It's a real good doc.
It's a really good doc.
But the thing is, we didn't even know. And the blessing, the craziest thing is, it was all documented. Like this, him, Jeremy and Kurt.
Yeah,
that there is like you can't get better than that. That's like time. That's like a time capsule.
Yeah, I have to say though, because kids these days, I have a 13-and-a-half-year-old.
Yeah,
like they document everything, even stuff that I'm like, why are you feel the need to document that? But so the fact that you have all of that from the ICQ days of yore.
Yeah, ICQ. Yeah.
But it is so remarkable because I don't have a lot of, I have stuff from plays I was in and stuff, but not be hanging out with my friends.
Laughing and, hoop it up and then behind the scenes. And that's like, and the thing is, what you guys saw in the Nautic 1, Nautic 2, and the documentary, we got 40 times more stuff, and that's the craziest thing, right? And so I don't know. So hopefully we do some type of Netflix show or something. I don't even know. There's definitely maybe TELUS to do something with it. I don't know, because there's a lot of so much great footage.
Yeah. What about for you, Jonathan? The screenings, of the film, especially that first screening, with your brothers, your teammates. What was that like for you?
Telling that story is a difficult thing to do, and going through all those emotions and bringing all those people together is a difficult thing to do. So for Jerry and Kirk and Ryan to do, and all those guys to really be able to, come together and tell our story. And like King said, back in those days, yes, there's kids get a lot of footage now and nowadays, but back in those days, it was like the caveman days. Only if you had like a little recorder, and we couldn't afford that stuff, right? So for us to have all that footage from back in the day and for it to be tucked away, I think it was tucked away at Jerry's dad's house in the woods somewhere, and Jerry had to go get it. But it was just super cool to see us all on screen, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? And to see us all as a family all together.
Has there been anything in the response to the film, not from you and the other members of the Nautic, but that has been surprising to you, or any feedback that has been, especially meaningful?
A lot of people that watched it, they love the documentary. They said, even like, sometimes I get messages from so many, like some people saying that, I follow you guys for this long. You guys changed my life. Like what? Like, you don't think that, these guys from Vancouver, Canada, changing lives, right? Especially through a documentary. And when I saw the documentary, man, I really didn't know that it was like that for you guys, right? And yeah, so people get to see another light that they just think, oh, we're good basketball players, right? But we're going through so much stuff during that time. Being together, playing basketball, that kept us laughing and enjoying ourselves, kind of tucking away all the negativity or all that stuff behind us. And we get to laugh at it, right?
Yes.
In a certain way, right? So yeah, and when people saw that, when people see that, especially the documentary, it's kind of surprises them at times. Like, wow, I didn't know Vancouver was like that during that time. I didn't know that you're going through that during that time, right? So you got to kind of appreciate the film and appreciate us at the same time for just keeping the street ball alive.
Joey, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about this youth program, and who are these kids and what are they learning?
Oh yeah, so we started the School Handles Basketball Academy, I think about 5 or 6 years ago. So basically teaching the kids how to play basketball, right? But also get to be themselves and how to have confidence when they play. I'd find like some of the kids, especially in my program, sometimes they're kind of scared to do certain things, like put the ball through your legs or go behind the back or even shoot the basketball. So we try to build confidence in these kids, right? You got an open shot, take the open shot. Don't got to look at me. Don't got to look at me just do it, right?
Yeah.
We're here to help you and guide you along the way. Have the confidence, play hard basketball, play defense, play good offense, right? Just like teaching kids fundamentals, but also just have fun and be creative, right? At the same time, right? So we try to kind of add that kind of like New York type of style, fast break, right? Run some isolation plays, but not too much one-on-one, but more of a freelance offense, right? So we teach them the basic offense, right? How to pass and cut, pass and go, right? We don't have too many plays because they can learn their plays in high school, right? This is a time to, especially club basketball, is to learn how to play the game, but also, how can I say, like, create your own opportunity, right? So that's what we try to bring in these kids, like let these kids like really try to get when they come here. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good clubs out there, right? But I find sometimes these kids are really in a box at times and only could do certain things. But when you're with us, man, you rock out. You can go rock out, but rock out as a team too as well, right? You can do your stuff, but also when you get to the hoop, you get stuck, pass the ball out, right? Like we teach all that stuff at the same time. So that's what we teach at the School Handles Basketball. And right now we're doing pretty great. When we first started, we had one club team. Now we have 4 or 5 club teams right now. And this is actually our first year winning. We won, so our development team won 3 out of 6 championships in the tournament, weekend tournament, which we haven't ever done before at all. That's incredible. Our select team, I think, won 2 championships for the spring season. We never won 6 championships in spring. So we're getting a lot better, right? We got more work to do, but our teams are getting a lot better. The kids have more to learn, but I could see that they're getting better. It's just great. And families are great too as well. So we're not super big. We're not like these other clubs. We're not super, super big. We're growing slowly, and hopefully we get to have at least 8 or 9 teams. I don't want to have like 20 or 30 teams. Yeah. And I want to keep it like, kind of like, a little bit smaller and just a little bit more. We can interact with the families more and the students more.
It's another case where it is taking a village, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Pull the thread through.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to end then we started with time travel. We're going to end with some time travel. If you could go back in time and speak to the young Joey and the young Jonathan that you were back at the beginning, of the Nautic, what would you say to those guys?
Go ahead, John. You go first.
I would say it's gonna be okay. You're gonna make it. There's gonna be some challenges along the way, but things will work out. God has a plan. So for me, I just tell my younger self to trust in God, trust the process.
I would say to myself, keep going. Like, that's all I really say. Like, keep the fire burning. You're gonna go through stuff in life, and it just, all that stuff is to get you stronger, because there's a big prize for you at the end, right? And just keep going. Don't stop. You got a lot of people looking out for you that you can see and that you can't see. So both physically and spiritually. So you got it.
Facts.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you both.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to and watching the TELUS Originals Doc Talks, and to our guests, Jonathan Mubanda and Joey Haywood. Watch TELUS Originals documentaries at TELUS Optik TV, Channel 8, and watch.telusoriginals.com, and follow us at TELUS Originals on Instagram. Doc Talks are a production of TELUS Originals. This episode was produced by Sharon Bradley with technical support by Matt Waterworth. Ken Soy is the production executive for TELUS Originals Doc Talks. Doc Talks are produced on the traditional and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. The viewpoints expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of TELUS.